Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by my crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by for crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night. Let's try.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm MikeMac, and this is Real Talk, Real Faith, no fluff, just Jesus. Because whether you know it or not, you've been chosen to. You ever wake up in the middle of the night and feel like that you ain't alone? It's not just a noise outside. It's not just your imagination. It's something real, something heavy sitting on your soul. That's conviction. That's the weight of everything you've done, everything you've run from. It's creeping in when the world's quiet and there ain't no distractions to hide behind. And that's exactly where we find Mary Magdalene in The Chosen's first episode. But this ain't just her story. It's yours. Everybody's got a demon. Now, some of y'all drink your demons away. Some of you numb them with work or screens or relationships that actually leave you emptier than before. Some of you slap on a fake smile and tell the world, you're just fine. But inside you're falling apart. And think about it. What's the world's answer to this? Just be positive. Find yourself. Manifest good energy. You know what that is? That's Nicodemus nonsense. It's fancy words that don't do a thing against real evil. Mary tried everything. The drinking, the running, the self-destruction. But no matter how far she ran, those demons ran faster. And in the moment when she was at the end, when it was over, when she thought, I got nothing left, Jesus stepped in. He didn't need a sermon. He didn't need a ritual. He just said her name.
Mary of Magdala.
What name are you answering to? Because some of y'all have been carrying around names God never gave you. Addict, failure, worthless. Right? The world loves to tell you who you are. The devil loves to whisper that you're nothing but your mistakes. Let me tell you something. The only name that matters is the one Jesus calls you by. And he ain't calling you by your sin. He's calling you home. Nicodemus, the so-called man of God, he walked into this mess with all of his rituals, all of his fancy words, thinking he could just fix it, right? But guess what? Failed. Because religion doesn't save. Jesus does. How many of you have tried to clean yourself up before coming to God? How many of you have thought, you know what, I'll go to church when I get my life back together? That's like saying I'll go to the hospital once I stop bleeding. What? You don't fix yourself first. You come broken. That's the point. You come exactly as you are because only Jesus can make you whole. Simon Peter, an apostle, a hustler trying to outsmart the system. Matthew, a devoted disciple. He's a tax collector that nobody could stand. Two guys who weren't exactly synagogue material, and yet Jesus saw something in them. He didn't wait for them to be ready. He didn't say, hey, go clean your act up first. That's not what he did. He looked at them and he said, follow me, period. What's stopping you? You think you ain't good enough? Good. You're exactly the kind of person Jesus is looking for. He didn't come for the ones who had it all figured out. He came for the broken, for the rejected, for the sinners, for the screw-ups. He came for you, and he came for me. Look, salvation ain't complicated. It's no checklist. There's no waiting until you're good enough. Jesus already knows you, and he still wants you. That's the beauty of it. Romans 10:9 says it very plainly. If you declare with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and you believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. That's it. Some people don't like to hear that, but that's it. No hoops to jump through, no earning it. Just believe, confess, and answer the call. So if you feel that pull, don't ignore it. Say this: Jesus, I believe you died for me. I believe you rose again. I don't have it all figured out, but I am saying yes, choosing you. Pray it, mean it, and don't keep it to yourself. He chose you first. Now it's your turn to choose him.
Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. Wednesday night, strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. Wednesday night, strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. Wednesday night, strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. Wednesday night, strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. Wednesday night, strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. Wednesday night, strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. Wednesday night, strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. Wednesday night, strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. Wednesday night, strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. Wednesday night, strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. Wednesday night, strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. Wednesday night, strike like lightning, and we say something. Don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. Wednesday say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace. It's Wednesday night, we strike like lightning, and we say something. Say something, don't ever let it go. Turn it up loud like a radio. The world's gone by with crazy places. Mike and Destiny killing XSpace.
All right, you wanted the best. You got the best, the hottest man and woman in the land, Mike and Destiny. Good to have you guys here tonight. It's going to be a fantastic super show, just like it always is. We're going to be talking a little bit about America first. Is it working? Is our economy going to make it? Is that freaking war overseas ever going to end? And does Israel own us? Some red meat for some of you Jew haters out there. Stop it. That's terrible. Horrible way to get it started, whatever. But before we do get actually started, I want to give a shout out to my peeps over there at America Mission, the greatest group of patriots on the planet. Want to find out how to get involved with them. See Dustin up here, got Chris up here, got a lot of the people. America Mission is in the house, got all kinds of people, right? If you want to find out how to get involved with them and how to find out to get involved with local leaders, how to make a difference in this country, americamission.com, or go to their X page, subscribe. Really easy, really cheap. Get involved with all of us because we are truly family. And speaking of family, I want to give out a big hello to our family of listeners on Rumble, QUX, Pill.net, all of those things. Thank you guys so much. We love you, love you, love you. And again, americamission.com, or go to their X page and subscribe from right freaking there. It's going to be incredible. Speaking of communities, though, don't forget to join the Say Something community. You can find that on that link on mine and Destiny's profile. And immediately following the space, we will have a subscribers-only space. You can find that on my page right now. Subscribe for only 99 cents. I know it says $1. Screw it. It rounds up. Can't help it, but it's only $99. Some people have said, now watch this, it's the greatest deal by anyone at any time ever. It's just what I'm hearing. It's incredible. Think of it. It's incredible. So if you want to join us afterward, hit that subscribe button. Come over to the space. Let's have a little bit of fun, make fun of Destiny until our little fanboys show up and jump in. We love Destiny. Stop making fun of her. It's okay. Yeah, whatever. But again, until they show up, it's a lot of fun. But right now, before we kick this bad boy off, down in the bottom right-hand corner, the purple pill, black pill, whatever you want to call it, retweet this space, get a couple more people in here. Probably going to get a little controversial, probably have some arguments. But we're all going to be calm and cool. And trust me, if there's anybody that knows how to be calm and cool at all times, it is me. I'm the teacher. I'm the one who teaches the lessons on calmness. And or Dustin. Dustin's not bad either, but I think I got him beat on this one. So anyway, but you leave your questions down there in the pill as well, any comments, and we will get to those ASAP. But for now, let me welcome the best part of Say Something, the one and only. Destiny, Destiny, you and me. Destiny, Destiny.
What's up? What's up, fam?
Still the best intro in town. Still the best intro in town right there, baby. Destiny. Can't beat it. What's up, Des?
I'm eating cheese.
All right.
What kind of cheese?
What kind of cheese? That is the...
Okay, let me read this. It is 10-month-old aged shaved Parmesan. And it is like these long, thick slices. Oh my goodness. So good.
It's interesting.
It's a delicacy.
I don't know if I go interesting.
Is it salty?
It's very salty for sure.
Well, it sounds like I'm in a Cardone space. You know what I'm saying?
Is it like the kind that you could actually shred like on top of pasta if you wanted to?
Yeah, but it's already shredded, but it's not like a crumble shit. It's like flat.
The long little strips.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So good, girl. Food Lion, go get you some.
This is so weird.
You don't understand cheese.
Oh, I do understand it. I understand it quite well.
You clearly don't.
No, I clearly do.
It's debatable.
Well, not
if
like
you
and I
appreciated cheese, you would have gone for the clarifying questions like I did, Mike.
I was trying to, Maze. You freaking you front ran me on it. Past tense.
If it wasn't for cheese, I'd be a size 0.
Tell me about it. Get rid of that. We all have a better life.
Girl, ditto.
Okay, so before we get to the speakers and the co-host, Destiny and I, we're going to do a little thing. It's called a little pregame thing. So, Des, I changed mine up. Well, we've got a few headlines, right? that we found kind of shocking, or something that we found very fascinating. And so, do you have yours ready, Des?
Yeah, but let me finish chewing on this Parmesan.
Okay, Gary. Mike, Dark MAGA. Gary Cardone. Okay, I'll go first.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so one of the headlines I was reading about was in a small clinical trial today, or well, it was released today, the information was, they demonstrated for the first time ever, they have made a genetic correction to basically fix to reverse a mutation. It's a one-time treatment that it's a genetic connection of I forget what the word is. Dadgummit, I forgot off the top of my head. But it's a genetic mutation that's a disease, right? A disease-causing mutation, and they were able to reverse it. It's a one-time treatment, done. So what do you think? What do you think about that, Des?
I think
you hate it
for the long-term data.
Okay, what you got?
Was it in utero?
We don't use words like utero in this space. We don't talk nasty. Get it? Uterus? Forget it.
This is why we need more COVID spaces, Mike, so we can brush up your anatomy here.
Yeah, I can't even tell that was listless talking. He's got a new. See, I'm not a fan. It takes me a while to get used to people's new headshots. So go ahead, Des. What do you got? I got a couple more bangers right here. I'm ready to get these things out.
No, you just you just dissed on a PFP when yesterday, I'm pretty sure I saw you change yours briefly. Did you not?
It was funny because it was amazing space. There was two Destinies in the speakers. It was pretty.
Really? Okay. Just want to say that. Yeah. Okay. My news is actually like, not to shit on Mike here, but it's actually extraordinarily interesting. On March 4th this year, Colossal Biosciences, as a company funded by InQtel and the CIA, has finally announced that they have perfected and completed one of their clone chimeras, introducing us to the woolly mouse, part of a distinction effort. Next up will be the thylacine and the woolly mammoth, hopefully by the end of this year.
So explain that. Explain that a little bit more. So this is like a stage that they're working on to try to resurrect the mammoth?
They made the woolly mouse or mice. I guess there's multiple, so mice. Woolly mice, that's a real thing. Apparently they exist. Well, now they do. And they're leading up to bringing back the woolly mammoth, which they intend to impregnate a clone into I think an Asian elephant, if I'm not mistaken. And then it should give birth to a full-fledged, full-clone woolly mammoth that they are going to put in the Siberian tundra with the hopes of stabilizing climate change in the tundra of Siberia. That's the idea. So they're working on that, and you can thank the CIA for this in CRISPR.
I think now would be the perfect time to play the Jurassic Park theme song.
Yeah, Mike.
I don't have that on my soundboard.
We doubling down on stupid again.
God dang, Kim's been waiting to use that line all day. Okay, so that's pretty good.
I predicted this was going to happen. I've been tracking this company for a long time, and they actually told the public about their endeavor to make a woolly mammoth a year and a half before the company announced it through the TV show American Dad. And they showed it on there, exact same thing. A year and a half later, the company actually announces that they were planning on doing that. And so don't think that the CIA doesn't control the media, right? Because pretty sneaky how they did that one.
Well, I'm excited about it. I say freaking resurrect all of them. I say, let's do it. I love it. CRISPR, freaking love it. Absolutely love it. So I was going to talk about the new moons real fast that they found around Saturn, 274 now total. But I have two left. One of them is the With Love Megan show on Netflix is experiencing disastrously low ratings, perhaps because people find her not particularly charming or not particularly pretty and really substance-free. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Agreed, sir.
I agree with that. Des, you got any thoughts on that?
That's my thoughts on it. Rawr. That's it. That's all I got.
Kid, what was that?
It was
That was
Jurassic
the
Park.
sweet version. That was so the Destiny version of Jurassic Park.
That was terrible.
Tell me it wasn't.
It was some
Roar,
kid playing on a
roar.
freaking piano on
Roar.
YouTube. It's the theme song. I just wanted to play it. Terrible.
Leo Fleurodon.
I love that Mike's big mad that Megan's show is not getting more views. I'm very upset.
I don't find anything about her at all attractive or charming whatsoever. I can't help it.
Wait, who?
Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle.
Oh, ew. Oh, yeah. Oh.
See, that's what I'm talking about. So maybe people don't want to just.
Underwhelming as a person, just entirely. If she
I think
wasn't
that's a.
married into royalty, she'd be like, who? Megan who? You would be like, oh, like I just did. I was like, Megan, who are you talking about? I think I meant Megyn Kelly. I was like, that's rude to say to Megyn Kelly.
Oh, no, I like Megyn Kelly now. Okay, what you got another one for me or what?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay, give it to me.
All right, guys. Recently, earlier in the month, they discovered the original resting place of King Tut and his tomb, which before they had found his sarcophagus, they never found his official burial spot, which is adorned with all sorts of cool mythos on the walls and stuff. They got a whole bunch of trinkets. They're now undergoing cataloging, and they will be set in the Egyptian Museum of Ancient Egypt by the end of the year. Very exciting. Can't wait to see what else they find out. This is super big for archaeology.
Love the freaking Egyptian stuff. If anybody has the, I don't know if you've, I don't know if you heard that I was talking about the other day about Seti. It was a girl. She was a small girl, and she had tripped and fallen, hit her head, and she believed that afterwards that she was like a princess from back in the Egyptian days, and even the people, she wound up becoming just a famous archaeologist basically, and she knew where things were that the other archaeologists called impossible. She went over there and studied. She went over there and did all of the excavations. She did all that, and she knew where things were that were impossible for anyone to know. History that nobody else knew. And one of the interesting things that just kind of came to light not too long ago was they had thought that they had found where Cleopatra's tomb was. And Seti had said back 20, 30 years ago that that was not the correct tomb, and they said it was. She said she's actually buried in this part of the pyramid, and they said there's not even a tomb there. Comes to find out that there was no sarcophagus in the tomb that they thought that Cleopatra was in. They still believed it to be her tomb, though, her burial room. And then recently, with the ground penetrating and the radar that they use, they found that there is a tomb, there is a burial place exactly where she said it was years ago that I don't think they've been able to get to yet, but she said that is the burial place of Cleopatra, which I thought was pretty interesting. So,
Mike, I got something just for you.
Okay.
And for the geriatric, hard to hear people out there, this is crazy news for you, Mike.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Let's do it.
Let me turn up my volume. Okay, go ahead. I can hear now.
Can you hear me now?
I'm sorry, what?
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go.
Okay, go.
So they discovered spider silk is the best thing to make hypersensitive audio pickup. So they're using spider silk, a very specific type of spider silk, to create the sensitive, ultra-sensitive microphones that they are intending to use for hearing aids and for tornado detection systems. How fucking cool is that?
That is cool. Yeah, I've always heard that about the spiders, that it's like that's one of the greatest materials they say that exist, isn't it?
See, that's not messing with Mother Nature. That's using Mother Nature.
Using Mother Nature. I'm using Mother Nature to fix my freaking jeans. What are you talking about? Big deal.
Is that what Spidey sense?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
Actually, that is exactly why that is called Spidey sense. It's because the sensitivity, they're able to hear sound waves. Spiders are able to hear sound waves before they ever see anything because it reverberates on their very thin webs that are made of these silk strands, and they pick up the slightest decibels, which is absolutely cool. So that's why they're always able to evade predators more often than not when they're in their web.
That's
spiders.
awesome, man. That's
freaking
awesome.
Spiders.
I love spiders. Yeah, I'm a spider guy myself. I used to have a lot of tarantulas as pets, and it's like the best pet to have, It's low maintenance.
Did you lose one in Virginia? Because there was one on my porch. It looked wild. And I
was on her porch.
My house one winter.
It is no longer on her porch or on this planet.
right?
I almost burned my house down over it. Okay, it was a pretty big deal. You should have seen it.
Okay, here we go. Let's do the last. Here's one last one, real quick. So, according to NASA, the Perseverance rover, it has discovered that there are mysterious white pebbles on Mars. I know some of you probably seen that square shape that they found on Mars, which is kind of interesting. But they found these mysterious white pebbles. They believe it to be kaolinite, and kaolinite exists in warm, wet weather. So that's kind of an interesting, kind of goes with the theory that at one time Mars was warm and wet, and which I don't know why we couldn't think it was. Egypt was warm and wet, for God's sake. So
it's still warm and wet.
No, I'm saying the pyramids were it was actually lush area where that was going.
Is that specifically in utero?
It is in utero. That's correct. These white pebbles are in utero.
In vitro.
In both of them, male and female.
In and out, burger.
Be here all week. So it's kind of interesting, you know. So there's a lot of people that believe that the water is underground. But
how about the United States putting a actual rover on the moon again? Anyone hear about that? Haven't done that since what? Because it's the first time a commercial one's ever gone from the United States and landed on the moon. It's up there right now, apparently.
Well, I guess we're just going to go back to the moon again, aren't we?
Back. That's funny.
Wild, man. I can't wait. That would be rad. Go to the moon, go to Mars, go to any other planet with the right type of protective gear. Man, as we advance, I can.
We're on the way. We're on the way. And speaking of on the way, we're on the way to the show right now. So, Des, here we go. Here's our little intro. Check it out.
Oh, you feel that thunder roll. Every word gon' shake your soul. They don't follow, they control. Let them know. It's Wednesday night lightning, no he's striking. They can't touch this heat, they're just typing. Mike and Destiny, yeah, they be. Say it loud, make them see. They don't do it like we do now. They don't move like we move now. Changing the lights when they speak. Wednesday night, they the beat.
Boom, there you go right there. Welcome to my cuz as our co-host. She's up on the stage up here. A lot of great people. Even Dustin's one of those great people that I would talk about upstage. But Shane, my boy Shane's in here. Sally, Chris, everybody, Commander, Hippie, Pixel, John's up here. Got all kinds of great people. So we see the guys requested it coming up. But I want to throw it to my girl, my cuz, my blood, my family. What's up, cuz? What you doing?
Oh, my Lanta. I am.
Did you say Mylanta?
Oh, my Lanta.
Ah.
Yes. I'm going about on an hour sleep. I was so just after that space last night, and my brain couldn't shut down. And then with work all day, and now that the work day is over, I'm also running for an office here in Georgia, and I'm
put a savage in the seat, baby.
That's right, put a savage in the seat. Looking into some thingies here from 2024. So yeah, it's been a wild 24 hours. Lots to discuss and discard.
Well, we don't have to discuss everything, do we?
I mean, we don't have to. But
yeah, well, look, okay, I lost my temper a little bit last night, but I'm getting to the point, you know, like Destiny says, look, I'm getting older, bro. I'm to the point where I don't care anymore. I really don't.
Well, so here's the thing, and Destiny and I were talking about this last night, like when we both are just like, when we heard you get upset because you don't get upset, that's when I immediately dropped down. I'm like, nope, I'm done here. Like, I cannot be a speaker in a space where you get upset.
Yep.
And yeah, exactly. And it was like, I was so thankful to both of you actually for coming in, and because I made a point and Destiny was right after me, basically cementing it and then adding more depth to it. I'm like, thank God. And then of course my blood comes in there, Mike, and he brings the heat yesterday. I was like, oh my God. But it was just I was cool. Look, I like the topic. Okay. I don't have a problem with the topic per se.
But when the crew rolled in and they started, just rolling through everybody, and that little rat midget started talking and used Trump and said that Trump, that we're such a cult that we would stand by and watch him rape a child and not do anything about it. That was it. I mean, what are you going to do? That just pisses me off. That's life. What are you going to do?
Yeah. I mean, it was
not have a meltdown.
I'm having a meltdown. I mean, but again, my meltdowns, I like to do those every now and then just to kind of mess with people.
Yeah. Have you considered like the rest of the room though when you do those?
No, not really. It's more of a selfish thing.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, because I know, like, I immediately sent Destiny a message. I'm like, oh, I effing hate this. Like, I am so uncomfortable, and especially with you getting upset. But it seemed like it was kind of going that way. Like, at a certain point, it seemed like agitators. It's almost like they were called.
They were. Stop arguing with fucking ops.
I can't help it. I know you're right. And the thing is, I think of Dustin a lot of times when I'm doing this. I'm like, I really should be doing, but it's
Look at how it doesn't affect you at all. You just let it roll off your back.
Oh, I'm still doing it. Even though I'm thinking about Dustin, I'm still doing it. Yeah, but the thing is, though, is I get very irritated when someone thinks that they're just going to keep talking. And it's like I'm just going to stop. So it just keeps going. Like my mind just rolls. I can't help it,
But haven't you heard like the saying, like not to stoop to somebody's level?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Fun fact is right before this space, I was listening in another space with the same people in there. I mean, going hard on the same topics. And I'm just so incredibly frustrated because I'm like, first of all, your retail takes are shit. You really have no idea what's going on. You really have no idea what is going on, but it's funny to listen to it. But at the same time, I'm like, you just sound like morons. And the fact that people listen to this is really bothersome to me because with everything that has been going on the past, with the whole, I don't even want to use those two letters, but with this whole CR thing, it is way, way more than people just fake outraging over something. It's so much deeper. But it bothers me that people with large platforms and people actually listen to them and think that they are just the end all be all. I'm like, you are listening to someone who freaking is a Q-tard. Like, give me a break. Like, you've got brain cells, you're smart, use them. But I just couldn't, but they're still going on about it. And anyway, I love you, cuz I love you, Destiny. And I'm just so thankful to be in a common sense space. Like, say something.
Say something with common sense, with savvy in the seat.
Yes. But I'm not like super sweet like Destiny. She's calm.
No, you were a little heated yesterday too. You're going off on our boy Alpha in there.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going off on anyone who says our Constitution ain't shit. Fuck him.
Exactly. Thank you, Destiny. That's savage Destiny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, actually, I'm not sorry. Fuck him anyways.
Yep.
Okay, it's still early.
I'm here all day, baby.
Yeah, no, we know that. We know that.
That would be in utero.
That would be in utero. If we could just get it back into the utero, that would be great. Probably be a better conversation. So let me go to my boy Dustin. So I want to get your take on this. So we're having a conversation yesterday before all that, Zayo, all that freaking stuff started taking place. But we were talking about Massey, and I thought that, we were talking about what are his thoughts behind this, especially when they were talking about the primary. And Trump's got to be smart enough to know he cannot primary Massey. Like, that's just not going to happen. The people in Kentucky they're like a little mini MAGA. Like, there's nothing going to happen to freaking Massey, right? And so we were wondering why, is there a reason? Does he need that kind of, that person to kind of play off of him? And I thought Massey said, and one other thing, I thought Massey said something kind of interesting. It seemed like to me, tell me if I'm wrong, like he was implying that I would have voted for it if we didn't keep pushing it back, right? If you told me that this would be the date that we would vote on it for a fact, for sure, I'd be willing to do something, right? But the fact is that y'all keep pushing it back. You'll keep, we're not going to do it before the election. We're not going to do it at the election. We're not going to do it at the beginning of the year. Well, we're not going to do it in March. When we get to September, that's when we'll do it. And it never gets done. And so I see where Massey's coming from, right? But then again, from the other perspective, it's like, this is Trump's term, and you cannot in any scenario whatsoever have a shutdown right now. You cannot do it. So I was going to get your perspective. How would you maneuver? You have a lot of experience. How would you maneuver kind of that give and take situation?
Yo. All right. So this one is wildly frustrating to me. So first, what I'll say is that it's not that like, oh, we kicked the can down the road for another month or like another. You realize it's been 12 plus years of kicking the can down the road, right? This isn't like some new, like, oh, look, we're going to do this. We're putting in this almost, because it's a continuing resolution, we don't address any of the ongoing spending issues. And honestly, like, I do not like that. I have heard every possible imaginable excuse why. Well, next time, you guys, we could totally for realsies do a normal process spending bill, and it just never. And so I can appreciate and respect Congressman Massey's take on this, which is I'm done voting for it, period. Like, you have to draw the line in the sand. And to be honest, he comes from the Ron Paul like school of libertarian politics. Ron Paul also was treated the same way that we largely treat Thomas Massey, as a contrarian, as somebody who didn't go along to get along, who was constantly like being badgered for not being effective enough because he never compromised on all these different like things like continuing resolutions. And now, decades later, what Ron Paul was standing up for has become like the heart of the MAGA agenda, right? So I can 100% appreciate Thomas Massey making the decision to do this. Now, I also, however, can appreciate that President Trump is going for the big gun. And right, to get to like, is America first working? Those of you guys who've been listening to me for a while know that like, I laid out what I expected. My expectation is it will get bad before it gets better, which is we should look to what happened under Margaret Thatcher in the UK when she went through and reformed and slashed government, that there is an initial period of pain because you're dealing with all of the band-aids and spending bullshits in order to get around for it. We're going to have to go for that. To me, the end, right, you have to give Trump what he wants here to go after it, especially because I truly believe that Donald Trump is going for the big one. I actually have a bigger problem with another libertarian who I love, Rand Paul, than I do Thomas Massey. Because what Rand Paul came out and said was, oh, I don't know, President Trump, maybe we should go back on the whole tariff talk. Bro, grow a fucking set of fucking balls. And like, if we can't weather a little bit of like market downturn and turbulence, then we're never going to be able to change anything. If the first time that the markets take a little dive, you're like, oh my God, you guys, let's go back. Just keep things like, let's not rock the boat. Well, then we'll be stuck as income tax slaves forever with the same system, like, period. So for me, I almost never disagree with Rand. But on this one, President Trump, I want nothing more than for him to stay the course. Listen, dude, my whole portfolio feels like XRP. It's that bad, you guys, right? Like everything is just getting absolutely torched across the board. I'm watching my net worth just decline on the daily. And you know what? I will suffer through it. I will weather this storm as long as there is like going for the big thing at the end of the tunnel, right? As long as we really are going after the income tax, and I believe President Trump's goal is to start by lowering it to effectively zero for almost everybody, to eliminate the agents who harass and intimidate people at the IRS, and then to effectively outlaw it the way it was supposed to be constitutionally. To me, if we get those things, then we have to have the stomach for, like, right, all of the shenanigans that come with it. It's not going to be like, you don't get to fix things, right? I'll use the broken arm example, right? There is no fixing your broken arm or dislocating shoulder without like resetting it, and that's going to hurt. But if you don't do it, then you're going to have a freaking 90-degree angle in your arm where it's not supposed to be. So grow a pair, reset the arm, and freaking go for the big one and stay the course. So I get it. I think, right, and again, what's funny is all this crazy talk about Massey, and at the end of the day, it passed the House easily. We even got some Democrat to vote for it. I don't know what that was all about.
Right,
But
and the Senate's getting ready to block it. Per Chuck Schumer, they're going to block it to force the government shutdown.
No surprise there. Right?
No.
The Democrats are happy to sacrifice the well-being of America.
Sure. Right, and they're going to make it look like it's a Trump thing, too. So be prepared, everybody.
But that's why Trump was so adamant about making sure that, like, it was clear, right? Like,
Correct.
Trump knows the game he's playing. I also believe he knows that Thomas Massey is right? Like, listen, this is not the first transgression of Massey, right? Massey, the contrarian that he is, was also a DeSantis simp on like day one. He's come out like on several of these votes. It's not even the first time that Trump has called him a grandstander. I think Trump knows that like he could go after Massey and it's not going to impact whoever, right? Like there's almost no impact of what's coming there. The only thing that like really is frustrating is because Massey is like one of the only voices in Congress who isn't like just overwhelmingly pro-Israel, the wisely Israel questioning segment of the internet immediately ties it as all things to an Israel conspiracy. I literally think it goes more to just Massey. I don't think Massey's ever been like a Trump conservative. I think he's always been more like a Justin Amash libertarian.
Correct.
And we've had our issues with them. And that was my long rambling way to say that, like,
but
I think
I will also
grace to
note,
both.
No, you're exactly right. But I will also note, because of Massey's stance, that doesn't make him a bad guy, a bad politician. He is a patriot, and he stands by, his mandate that was given to him by his constituents. This is no new news for Massey. So and that's what bothers me is this fake outrage. Oh my God. I'm like, what do you mean? Oh my God. Like, we've known this about him for years. Does he have a R behind his name? Yeah, but he falls more in the super fiscally conservative libertarian column. This is not new. He is very, very traditional. The last time he did vote on a CR was during Biden. Destiny cut me off at any time. But the reason for that was because it was supposed to halt, 8% funding, something like that, and it didn't even pass. That's the only reason why he voted for it. But this fake outrage, that's the part that's irritating to me in retail politics spaces, because they're only looking surface level. You're not looking about everything that's happening behind the scenes with President Trump and between Massey. Like, a lot of this, you have to remember, is a game. Politics is a game. It goes way deeper, but people just need to do the 48-hour rule and just chill out. Take a breather, because I can guarantee you, and I'm even saying this, y'all don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm not 100%. Now, I understand wholesale politics better than the average person, but I don't know everything. But being reactionary to something like this is silly, even when you already know the outcome of what it's going to be.
Completely agree, Sammy. And my huge problem is, and it's always been this, is that there has to be some like rational thinking about who we are calling patriotic and not patriotic, when these are people that we have voted in, the constituents have voted them in for a reason. You're discrediting their voting power, you're discrediting their role in their democracy that we all share, first and foremost. So no, it's not like, well, we just get rid of them because we don't agree. The whole like 100% loyalty or get the fuck out rhetoric comes from Nazi Germany, from the Truman's loyalty program, from the Soviet Union under Stalin. And if that's what people want to be, then I don't want anything to do with it. But the reality is we shouldn't be that country. We're supposed to be the opposite of that kind of shit. And people seem to forget that because of ideological bullshit, which is honestly just aiding democratic backsliding, which is removing our institutions of democracy. And eventually we will end up in an authoritarian regime if we keep it up, because we cannot have this whole like political field that is just beyond a swamp. It's a boiling pot of shit at this point, where there is no safe space for free speech, for democracy, and it's just toe the line or you're enemy number one. And I personally don't feel like living in Soviet Union under Stalin. I don't. I like living in America, where we believe that whoever is the best gets the job, whoever gets the vote gets the job, and we respect each other as Americans.
And that's a great point. And to that point, Destiny, and I could get booted out of this space real quick, but y'all, there are even patriotic Democrats out there. Believe it or not.
Whoa, let's just...
I know.
Let's calm down a minute, okay? Let's think of it.
Trump was a Democrat once.
Trump, and that's when I fell in love with Trump, was when he was a Democrat. But there are patriotic Americans, and I can kind of liken this argument to the argument of treason. What we think would constitute as treason, the other guys think that they are doing something to save our country, and they truly believe it. Just like we have our beliefs and convictions that we truly believe. Just because...
Wait, hold on a second. You're saying that the Democrats believe that what they're doing is for the best of this country?
I do truly believe that there are some that do.
Some.
Yes.
Okay.
Some.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can
One
get
of
it.
us in the
Others are,
audience
of
right
course.
now, John Collins is down there. If we can get him up here, he's one of my favorite Democrats.
Yeah,
Very
John is a
moderate
good guy.
about-
But my point is that, you know, what one person's now, and this is a very, I mean, take it what you will, but the way I would define patriotism isn't not necessarily, say, the way that Sally or Destiny or Mike, well, I know Mike and I are on the same thing, but their definition of patriotism could be something completely different. And they truly believe it, and they're American. So saying that, you know, a congressman is less patriotic than our sitting president, I mean, really? Are we really doing that? Just because he truly believes in being fiscally conservative, so he won't vote on a CR. That makes him less patriotic. That argument, it pisses me off.
Because it's the same people who are rallying, though, behind Doge for cutting out waste and abuse and overspending in the government. But the second it happens and it's not on their agenda's timeline, they're against it. And that's just hypocritical. It's fucking hypocritical, period. And people don't want to admit that, but it's true. Either you're for getting the country back together and getting our finances together and getting the government lessened down and giving us people our rights back more fully, with more ways of exercising it. Like, are we trying to win or are we trying to lose?
Right. Yeah. And Massey knew that was going to pass. He knew it was going to pass. So he knew his vote really wasn't a big deal. But I guarantee you there's things going on behind the scenes that we don't see, right? That that are working, that are, I mean, these are moves in the political game. That's just my point. It's nonsense, because I feel like it's, oh my gosh, something shiny over here. Look over here. Oh my God. When your fake outrage can actually be real, concern or even outrage or hyper focus on something that really, really is important currently within your state, and then on a national level.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, I see where both sides are coming from. It just seems like that Massey probably would have been on board if he could have got some kind of assurance that the next time this comes up, that it works out his way. You know what I'm saying? Because he used so many
to show that it actually happens.
Say again?
The only way that he's going to feel, or anyone is going to have any actual assurance that's going to hold water, is if there is an action to back it up.
Yeah,
and
true.
I feel like we'll get to it next year. We'll get to it next time.
Yeah.
The less pork spending in the next one. That's hopium. And
I totally agree with that. But my solution was yesterday is there some kind of agreement that they could all sign their names to? You know what I'm saying? And again, that's kind of a cliche, but just something where they could sign
like
something. No, like some kind of and again, I was just throwing out something like, if you had someone that can make some kind of commitment to it, like on paper, that this is what they would do. Not to say that it would.
Oh, you mean like Speaker Micro Johnson did with us to become Speaker, that we would have no more CR or omnibus spending bills. He would return us to regular order and the 12 spending bills, and completely reneged on it on day one.
Yeah, that's what
literally on
that's
day
what I meant.
one.
That's exactly.
Like resign it. Like, you cannot trust these. I am so glad that at minimum, like, I'm appreciative for Massey, because at least we're talking about, like, it sounds nerdy, but if you've been doing this for 15 years, like Thomas Massey and like a bunch of us activists who have been trying to like undo this, it is so enraging. They have lied, and all we get is continuing resolutions and Christmas Eve omnibus spending bills. We're fed up with it. I don't mind at all, because I've watched Massey fight these battles. And at some point you draw the line, you just say, I'm not voting for one of these again, ever, period. Like, I don't care what you tell me, or that it has to be this time. We have to do it different. Like, you've expanded all of those options. Give me regular order spending bills, or shut the fuck up.
And that's what he said too. If this was sectioned off and there were 12 different bills, 12 different line items, fine, let's go. But there weren't. It was a lot of this, and this was a Biden CR, guys. So there's just so much more to it.
Yeah, Mike, what do you think about that?
I don't really think about it too much, because Dustin just shot down my freaking idea. And I thought that signing it on a piece of paper is all that we need to verify the fact that it would make it almost damn near law. But
okay, well, then give me $1 million and I'll write on a piece of paper that I'll pay you back someday.
No, because I don't trust you. John,
you trust politicians. There's the problem, Mike.
Look, I'm about to trust John to speak some wisdom to the crowd here. He's a Democrat. He's a smart guy. He's Shane's boy. Good people, incredible people. And I want to get John's take on this, see what John thinks. John, what's up, brother? Welcome to the stage.
Thanks for letting me come up, guys. How's everyone doing?
Doing good, brother. Doing good.
Hi, John.
Yeah. Hey. So I got to say, at least from my perspective, I have a lot of respect for Massey, because it's not an easy thing in this climate to stick your neck out there, especially on principle, which is like in really short supply. And I've seen a lot of the arguments on both sides about people who are critical of him for it, and how it's just with the margins so tight in Congress right now that you really have to be on the same page if you want to get big ideas through. And I looked at his voting record, and he is basically on Trump's page like 94. It seems like when he really does withhold his vote, it is a well thought out and well reasoned I guess, issue for him that he's put a lot of thought into, and he's pretty consistent about it. And we don't have a lot of that. I've seen the only person that I
He
can kind of,
literally wears a debt clock on his
yeah,
lapel.
I know.
He made that, by the way. He made that.
have
He
to
coded
respect
it and
that.
made an
Went to
app
where,
for it.
Destiny?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Where did he go to school?
MIT, engineering grad. Yep,
that's
So
right.
smart. So I mean, obviously, I think some of his priorities are a little bit different than what you'd expect from someone on the left to approve of. But I think that you're taking a principled stand like this. We really need a lot more people like that in Congress, and I think that we would benefit from different ideological views, but people who kind of maintain that same like steadfast, resilience. Because right now people seem to fold under pressure. And I can understand why people are frustrated by it, but I don't think any of us like continuing resolutions. We've been doing this for so long now. We have to stop. And I think that, Democrats, Republicans, and independents probably all agree on this. We just don't really have a great way forward of how to resolve it without it turning into like a train wreck or just gridlock. And we definitely don't need any more of that either. So that's my take.
I like it. Thank you. Mike stepped away for a second, so I'm taking the reins, which is perfect because everything he just said, I completely agree with. I'm sure some people might not, but I definitely agree. I think we're getting too far away from looking at what we need as a solution here. We're looking at the problems. I think we're looking at the solution. And the solution definitely is not more continuing resolutions. Massey was right in September. Why don't we break it up into 12 separate bills? Why don't we do that so there's not these pockets of thousands of pages of all this payment that we just have Doge now getting out for us to reconfirm what we have already tried to toss out? This is not, that doesn't work. It's not efficient. It's not helpful. It's un-American. The whole thing is just, there's got to be a better way. And that's Massey stuck his neck on the line to be the odd man out to say that truth, that there has to be something better than this and that he doesn't support it. And it takes incredible courage. And it's sad that we only have one person in there that was willing to say that. That is a really sad state for our country and the country we were built upon people like that. That's how we started.
Point, Destiny, because I've seen so many congressmen, their post yesterday was, I normally vote no to CRs, but. So they're
folding
really
under pressure. And it's so easy to do. It's so easy to just, and the system depends upon you doing that. It's one of my favorite Mickey Mantle quotes. I know it's a little dated, but gangs are where cowards go to hide. And that means essentially that people who don't have true conviction will seek out a group so that they can just agree, because it is easier to agree than to stand on your own integrity. It's much more difficult. But this country was founded on men that did stand upon their own integrity against the odds. And we need to remember that as a country right now. So thank you. Go ahead, Chris. I see your hand is up. How you doing, Chris?
Hi, Destiny. Sorry for your loss. I think, I've watched this ridiculously for many years since I first became interested or necessarily interested in politics, because if you live inside the Beltway, what happens in Washington is your local news. And so you really need to try to stay on top of what's going on. Otherwise, you can't have an intelligent conversation with anybody. The whip in both chambers of both parties, the whips, they know pretty much where they stand as far as what their votes are going to be, how many they need, how many they can throw away. And pretty much on every bill, more or less, there's 2 or 3 that can be given up for people who have a burr up their ass about whatever particular issue there is. And for him in particular, this is a ongoing issue, and rightfully so. I don't have any problem with that. I don't have any problem with him having a voice and making political points to the ridiculousness of not having passed all 13 appropriation bills since the 1990s. The same's true for Rand Paul, who puts out a Festivus list every year, which basically replaced Senator Proxmire's long-standing list of ridiculous spending, for which he gave awards. So this goes back into the 80s. So they knew they had enough votes to pass the bill. That Massey's vote wasn't going to make any difference. He announced at least a week ahead of time that he wasn't going to be voting for it, as has Rand Paul. So it's not a secret that both of these Kentuckians, both of whom are more libertarian than they are anything else, have very invested beliefs about how government should function, and particularly about how the process works. And it's important, regardless of what happens, that their views go into the congressional record, and that they can, at whatever level is possible for them to participate in the news media, to be able to get this out. And there have been Democrats in the past, to their credit, who have also been objectors, not necessarily for this, but for other reasons. They have the Democrats used to have a policy called Pay Go, which was something that went back to the time of Tip O'Neill, and so you had to have money to be able to pay as you went along, and usually with the Democrats that ended up resulting in a tax increase, because they couldn't keep their budget chastity belts on, and somebody would cut them off and they'd have to go raise taxes.
Chris, I want to ask a question. What do you think is going on between the infighting right now concerning Massey? What's the real problem? Is it just the disagreement, or is it because he's trying to change things?
Actually, it's just politics as usual in Washington. Trump also has a point. Okay, that we got elected, we have a mandate, we have a mission that we're on, and when people make a lot of noise like this, it takes away from us being able to stay on task, and gives the left-wing media the ability to use it as talking points to distract and to create consternation amongst the public, and it becomes their cause to action. And if Massey and whoever the other people are in the House who truly believe this, most of them are in the Freedom Caucus, were really upset enough, they have the votes to be able to stop this, and they have the votes to be able to extract whatever pound of flesh that they want from Speaker Johnson in order to get things across the finish line, because they hold about 25 votes. We know that there's not going to be any Democrat votes to go along with it. And so the rest of the Freedom Caucus decided that they were going to play along. And Massey still gets his soapbox and his 15 minutes of fame, and in 6 weeks you won't even remember this happened.
That I absolutely agree with. I don't think we're even going to know about this like in a week, because I know the attention span in this country. They won't think about it in a week from now.
The thing that gets me really in the Senate is this is a budget bill, and so they should be able to pass this on reconciliation. In which case, they don't need cloture. They can do it on 51 votes, but that's going to depend on whether Thune decides that he's going to be an actual leader of the Senate and put Chuck Schumer in his place. Because I can promise you, when the roles were reversed and the Democrats were running the Senate and President Biden was in there, on reconciliation bills, they just said, screw you, this is the way it's going to be, and they just passed it. Harry Reid famously did away with cloture for Supreme Court and lower court nominations, and he was told that the 200 and some odd year old rule written by Thomas Jefferson himself would come back to bite them in the ass. And it has on a regular basis. And I'm perfectly happy with us being able to put as many people on the court during our administrations as we can. Hopefully, overcoming ridiculous majorities in places like the Ninth Circuit. Now, we need to look at the good behavior portion of the appointments clause, and that needs to be enforced. It was definitely not enforced during the January 6th fiasco, where you had basically
we're getting a little into the weeds, Chris. I'm going to halt you here.
Yeah,
I got Brian's hand up. Stay up here. Brian.
God bless you, and thank you very much for the mic.
Oh, God bless you.
And hi, Tiff. Hi, Mike.
No, he stepped away, but yeah, he's there.
Mike did change his avatar, his PFP yesterday, because he was in MySpace. I saw it change. So.
Well, I appreciate the Mike, Mac, and Destiny, and your other lovely co-host. Hi, thank you all for the mic. I appreciated a moment, and to ask a question, and to elaborate on that a little bit. Yeah, I kind of agree that Massey's mostly a holdup. It's going to be mostly a stall. They need somebody to help oppose things, and. Well, I guess he seems like I guess the people that would most agree with him would be the people in my face right now, thinking that they would oppose him on things. Which there is a big divide, right? Both parties in the past 8 years, past couple administrations here, both parties have ran on unity, uniting the people. Yet they seem more opposed to each other, both sides, more divided than ever before. As much as they are working together, it seems that they're more divided than ever before. And I believe there's a couple of reasons, in my opinion. Their education, the Department of Education, and how that works out is one of the hiccups there, and another one would be housing. On its face, the over 1 billion and green and resilient retrofit program passed by Congress in 2022 is intended for energy efficiency improvements. The headline reads, Trump administration halts $1 billion program.
Brian, I don't know what you're doing with your microphone, babe, but I need you to stop doing it. It's like it's glitching against something.
Oh,
No, you're fine, but it's just it's whatever's touching it.
Nothing's touching it. But if it keeps up, you can drop me. That's fine. I'm sorry. My apologies on that.
Well, am I the only one hearing it? Because if it's my problem, I'll fix my end, I guess. But
No,
I heard it too.
okay. I was making sure it's not me just going crazy here. But go ahead, continue, Brian.
How bad is it? Are you not hearing me? Or
no, it's intermittent. Like it's coming every like few seconds or so, but it's not totally disruptive. So yeah, no, just go ahead with your point, and I'll suffer through it. It can't be that bad.
Okay. Well, the action, the thing that I want to point out here is, it's a little bit critical to me, the housing development actions that they're putting forward, especially Doge and Trump. They just cut, well, it's 42 states, including Puerto Rico and another out there, but it's 42 states. It's nationwide. They cut the low income housing budget, the program, just about completely out. And they've only kept, I think, about 24 or so of the programs, which would ensure survivability, livability of low income families, especially those on like Social Security. Some of them lucky to have 2 incomes can afford. Many of them can't already, but to wipe out these programs and essentially the upgrades on those buildings that they're saying are intended, which would cost way more than would need be, and they're trying to stave off the cost of that, is going to make them run to outside measures to seek that funding to continue those programs in some way. And I think that's the intended ticket he's looking for them to punch, to go somewhere else for that funding, which is going to be incredibly crucial. It'll drive it up 3 times than what it is now, but we'll see how that turns out. This administration is set to 10 trillion in infrastructure changes, right? And we don't know exactly how that's going to appear, but this cut to the low income housing is I'm sure it's quite a fight. Maybe there between the parties, I'm not certain. They might all be in agreement on it, but they've essentially cut out the poor people that were barely affording to make it by, just got cut out of reach. So any thoughts on that?
I think that we're going to have to, I don't know what they're planning on doing with Doge in terms of like tracking these specific cuts, but I would be hoping that they would do a very like extensive quarterly or biannual report on this so that we can have like a third party opinion look at it, even if it's after the fact. That would be my hope, because if they're going to say they were the most transparent administration in history, then I expect that to be the case for the finances, especially considering how bad it is and how much they're actually rooting out. So I think we have a right to see that, and I hope that if Elon and Doge is doing things correctly, that we'll get some answers on that, because right now all I could do is essentially speculate, and with the sour taste in my mouth about how things are going right now, it probably wouldn't be the best speculation.
Well, thank you, but it's my firm, and I'll stop here. I appreciate the Michael moment. It's my firm opinion on it that they knew exactly what they were doing when you institute into our kind of society what's known as consultant firms that get to come in and cut costs in companies, especially in low income housing or those buildings, the upgrades, what it means to actually keep it up. See, I live in North Carolina here, and in North Carolina, in many of our rural areas and in many of our cities, we have clauses that state that they have to keep those buildings up and up to code, up to specs, etc. When they use consultants and cut those costs and they turn their heads, those buildings go downhill. The cost that it would be to maintain them now, they're in serious trouble. In my opinion, and we'll see how that goes from there.
I agree. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. And I think we have a lot to look forward to. And I know we do. We have a lot to look forward to this year. This one administration, I think we all forget, it's going to be 4 years. And we're already almost, 70 days in, 60 days in. So, I mean, we don't have long left to go, but we'll see results soon, hopefully. So thank you, Brian. And Doc, I know you're waiting patiently. I saw you wave your hand. What's up, Doc?
Sorry. So is Trump's America First working out? No. No, I think it's a simple answer. There's a lot that the president has done consistent with his promises, consistent with the best interests of Americans. His control of the border, all the activities of DOGE, the attempt to get down to a balanced budget through the elimination of fraud, which seems possible. The consideration and the talk increasingly serious that Trump's going to suspend the income tax. There's a lot in Trump's efforts to stop the war in the Ukraine, keep people in place, stop the dying, all consistent with his promises. But I have two big problems with the president. Both of them tied. And I won't bring this topic up because I know it's controversial, at least in this space, with a certain country. One is the attempted deportation of a green card holder, because as a student at Columbia University, he spoke as a leader in support of the U.S. ceasing the funding of what every international body, every respected NGO, I'm talking about, for example, Amnesty International and Doctors Without Borders, people whose integrity and mission are not reasonably questioned, at least by me, suggests in every legal authority that's ever existed prior to October 7th of 2023, what's happening now in Gaza is a genocide. And Trump has proposed another $8.7 billion in funding. I'm surprised. I'm not sure if it passed in the CR or not. But I have a real problem with Rubio trying to deport this gentleman. There's no legal basis for it. And the justification, the narrative that's been promulgated through every space that I've been in the last 72 hours, which is that we don't allow or will tolerate the promotion of terrorism or support for a terrorism group. The fact is that's a lie as it relates to this particular gentleman. Neither is substantiated by the evidence. And of course, we haven't seen any evidence. He was scooped up, removed from the state, to be placed in front apparently of a judge who is more likely to go ahead and comply with the government order. I have my opinion about Gaza and what's happening there, but this is strictly from my love and appreciation and knowledge of the Constitution. This is a clear violation of his free speech rights, which I promise you, the free speech rights and the due process rights of a green card holder are identical to yours and mine. And if they can do this to him, they can do it to a citizen. The distinction of the law is not present, as Rubio and the president apparently believe is justified. So that the fact also that this allows for a bunch of demagoguery and fighting between those who support Islam, those who support Israel, and Christians, it divides us right down the middle. It's really intolerable from this president who claims to be a constitutionalist. Now, I don't know if he's getting bad advice or not, but it's one of the reasons why I came up in this space, and it's recorded. I'm going to clip it. This is a horrible abuse of our First Amendment. Our country is not a Christian nation. All right, by numbers, maybe so. And the fact that that's changing is a problem for some people. Okay. But as an agnostic, our founding fathers ensured this country's first founding principle was religious tolerance. And it's there in the First Amendment. It's there throughout all of our founding fathers' documents. And right now it's being stomped on. And it's supported by way too many, quote unquote, constitutional conservatives, in my opinion. That's the one problem I have with what Trump's doing. The other problem is not applying the same principles of stop the dying to both Ukraine and Gaza and everywhere else. The United States should get out of NATO, just stop funding and supporting the attack on Russia. If Russia's willing to be our friend, it's a good goddamn idea, because China is really the problem. And the extent that China isn't a problem, that's not an argument, because with three stools, with three legs, you have a balanced stool. When the chair starts to fall over when there's only two legs on a round table. So that's my rant. Thanks for letting me go on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Doc. I want to ask you a question before you like leave us here. If you're dropping down, I want you to stay and answer this question. So my question to you is when you're looking at this atmosphere of people being potentially deported or kicked out of school for these policies, which undoubtedly are linked to the anti-Semitism bills, because that is what they detail, both the one from Trump's first administration and now the second newer one. Is this something that people are behind because it has MAGA name on it? Or is it something that you think that these people genuinely believe to be true and that they wish this to be the case outside of Trump?
I think it's both. I think that, I know, I won't mention any names, mostly some very, Will Chamberlain, some really big conservative influencers who support this from an evangelical Christian perspective. Now, I respect everyone's faith. I've been a participant in all three of the major Abrahamic religions, but I'm now an agnostic for some very good reasons. And I see the beauty and the joy in religion. And right now, it's just a festering pot of religious hatred, fostering and creating infighting among people. It perpetuates the tribal nature of some to the detriment of all of us. And to the extent that part of this could logically lead in 1, 2, or 3 steps to a war with Iran and affect World War III, all our very lives are threatened. And I think that there's a promotion of this rhetoric from one side or the other, or for those that might be ignorant of the dynamics behind this. This is another part of the depopulation effort that we've seen in so many facets, in my opinion, from the EU, the WEF, Soros, that whole crowd. I mean, if we can't kill them with a fake vaccine or creating bioweapons or fostering war, let's have a nuclear war. That might get us down to WEF and Jane Goodall's goal of 500 million humans, all of us serfs, controlled by the powers that be, that want me and you to send our sons and daughters to war without a declaration of war, to die for these old fucking men. This needs to stop. Trump needs to stop it. We need to have free speech, even speech we hate. If you hate what someone has to say about Islam, if you hate it, if they killed your mother and your father and everybody else and your dog, you know what? You gotta let them talk, because that's the only way that opinion and support of your position can be generated among those who are not vested, informed, or ignorant about the issues. We have to attack, in my opinion, as conservatives and MAGA supporters and supporters of Trump, what's happening now with this gentleman from Columbia University. I fully expect the courts to stop it. Apparently he had a hearing today, and if anyone has heard what the results of that are, the judge is going to have to rule. I think the judge is going to rule that the law as applied to this particular person does not allow for his deportation. So we'll see. Hopefully that answers.
I agree, Doc. It's one of those things that, I think that's the rope that they're trying to, hang everyone up on is the same one that's going to hang them up on too, because the right to express this kind of frustration and infringe upon somebody's rights like this, it is dependent upon the First Amendment for them as well. Like, for them to even express that, that's the same thing as protecting you to do what you're doing. And, if you keep rallying behind tightening that, what should be an unalienable right there by our Constitution, that we got to be careful what I'm saying, what we're willing to degrade, because it's not always easy to get it back, if ever. So I'm completely on board. Thank you, Doc. I don't know whose hand was next. I think it was Deep. I feel like you were next. Go ahead, Deep. And then we got Jen. And then we'll get to the other hands. Go ahead, Deep.
No, Sally. Destiny, could I just add on something what Doc was saying?
Yeah, sure.
Real quick.
If you don't mind, Deep.
Doc, so I was brought up in that evangelical perspective to always support Israel, and it's in the Bible, you support Israel, right? But I have a real problem with something that's happening, right? Like, I don't understand why we can't ask questions. And even me, someone who has been very supportive of Israel, right? Like literally getting called an anti Semite because I dared to ask questions. And I think that's the problem, right? Because, like, if we can ask questions about Ukraine, if we can ask questions like, no one's holier than thou, no country is holier than thou. And I think there are legitimate questions that need to be answered. And that doesn't mean I'm anti Semitic. That doesn't mean I hate Jewish people. It means I care about my country and I'm not just going to be blinded. So I think there needs to be like a balance of being able to, still stand on your values, but also be able to ask questions.
Yeah, it's really intolerable, and we have to be the better side here, right? The conservatives, we have to continue to espouse the values that has made this movement as popular as it is, has it's allowed us to move to the center as well, which I know those in the far right, far right, we know it exists, just like there's a far left, are upset about. And it's divisive and it needs to stop around religion, right? We are a secular nation by design, by origin, and this sort of stuff, it's never going to resolve. It's always going to be tribal. We need to take the politics out of religion and religion out of the politics.
Agreed.
Hey, I just want to follow something up real quick, Daz, on what Jen said, and I totally agree with. Appreciate it. Thank you. I totally agree with what Jen said and what Doc said as well. But Jen, I want to ask you a question. Have you also noticed in this day and age that we live in the fact that we should be able to ask questions about our country, about Ukraine, about China, about Israel? We should hold everybody accountable just as we hold our own government accountable, right? There's no reason to think, since there is no incorrupt, whatever government on the planet, it's safe to say that every single government that exists on this planet is corrupt and always has been. So with that said, though, have you noticed that if I ask for instance, if I don't accept blindly what I'm being told about Ukraine or about Israel or whatever it is, then I become instantly the bad guy. I'm like, I can't think about this. I can't ask any questions. Otherwise, and it goes with both sides. With the Democrats on Ukraine, all of a sudden I'm anti-democratic. If I ask any question, yeah, but is Israel really?
It is a cult tactic. It's a cult tactic to reinforce whatever side anyone wants. It's to just give it a label. If you were against the George Floyd, guess what? You were a racist. If you were, it's just a tactic, and people have got to be able to see past this at this point. It's to shut down conversation.
We have to be able to talk about things, right? And the fact that our government gives so much money to one country, right? And the fact is, like, yeah, is Iran like a threat to Israel? 100%. Is Iran, a threat to us? Yeah. Remember, he called us little Satan and big Satan, right? I support Israel's right to defend themselves, right? You get attacked. Yeah, you need to go out and defend yourself. I get it, right? But this whole thing where it's like, if you ask one question, how dare you? You're an anti-Semite. You hate the Jew. And it's like, no, not at all. Like, I just had some questions. And see, growing up in New York, like, I had a lot of Jewish friends, right? And I would always get into this like discussion with them because like you'd have Jews who are like, yeah, I'm Jewish, I'm American, that's who I am, right? But then you have this group of Jews, right, who are like, I'm Jewish, I'm Israeli. And it's like, well, wait a second, have you ever been to Israel? And they're like, no, but that's my homeland. And I'm like, well, you're in America and you've never been to Israel, yet you're telling me you're an Israeli. Like, how does that work? Right. And if we're not going to tolerate things from one country, we can't go tolerating it from another country. Right. And if it just so happens that like maybe like somebody wasn't upstanding 100% of the time. Right. Obviously, America wasn't. Right. Like, why can we not ask these questions without getting labeled anti-Semite? Right. Like my dad was heavily involved back in the day with Center for Security Policy. He went over to Israel, right? Like, I know both sides of the argument really well, right? And I don't think either one is 100% right all the time, right? And there has been questionable shit that went down, but if we dared ask about it, we were automatically labeled anti-Semite, and I don't think that's like a healthy place to be in this country. I think we should be asking questions all through all the countries. I think we should go look back at all of the spending that we're giving to countries. But I also don't think that we should be targeting one population all the time, right? The people that get up and say it's the Jews, okay? Like that is not helpful either, because it's not
But
all the
that's
Jews,
my
right?
point
And the
though.
whole
Is
and the 1 second, and the whole APAC discussion, there's no freaking nuance to the argument. Right? Do you realize there's Jews who hate APAC? Do you realize that there is a Republican Jewish coalition because they can't stand APAC and they think APAC is ruining things? Right? They think APAC is too far to the left. Right, but we can't even have that discussion, because if you agree with Israel on one side, you're automatically labeled like anti-Muslim, anti-Palestinian. Right, it goes both ways, and that's the problem.
And that was what I wanted to say. I totally agree with that. Like, for instance, I look at APAC and I'm thinking, register. That's it. Like, it's not like that's not a very difficult decision. They need to register. You know,
it isn't. None of the questions that people are asking are difficult to deal with. Like, it's not hard to solve the problem of AIPAC. It is not hard to solve a lot of these problems that people have with Ukraine and Israel, which is like, we want to see where the money's going. You know, we want an explanation. We want everyone to play the same rules everyone else has to play. It's not that difficult. And so when the conversation gets shut down by rhetoric or claims of labels like you're a racist, you're anti-Semitic, you're a Jew hater, when those are put there, they are meant to suppress the conversation. That's all it's ever meant to do. And it's when we're like adhering to that, it becomes this very polarized thing where we have everyone fighting with each other and nobody actually solving the problem because we're not talking about it.
Yeah,
well, and think about it, when you're trying to solve the AIPAC problem, right? And you're like, oh, it's AIPAC, right? It's the Jews, right? If you would have just stopped at AIPAC, like, AIPAC's a problem. How much you want to bet there'd be Jews that come out and say, yeah, AIPAC is a problem, right? And our argument would be way more powerful. But we can never stop at AIPAC. We have to go to the Jews.
Hold on. I just want to say this. Let me just finish what I was saying a minute ago. My problem is that is the only place right now where the things are being conflated. Right? There is no communist and Chinese. It's not, nobody ever says anything about, like, there's no spaces where they're talking about the Chinese people. Right? They talk about the Chinese government. Nobody's talking about the Ukrainian people. They're talking about the Ukrainian government. My problem is that when I go to these spaces, if I want to hear what you're talking about the Israeli government, like, I agree with some of the points with that. I personally, no matter what anybody, I just don't think this little tiny sliver in the entire world is running the entire world. I don't believe it. That's just me. And I respect the people who do think that they run the entire world. I got that. But when you say that the Jews are running the world, I got a problem with that. Right? I have a problem when you call everybody, when people call everybody out there that the whole world is evil and devils, and they're all child, and the whole state of Israel is just constructed for, that's where we harbor all of our child molesters. I just don't, I don't buy that. I just think it's dumb.
I don't think anybody in this space buys that, though.
Well, no, I'm not asking if anybody in this space buys. I'm telling you what I buy, because I go to these other spaces. That's why I prefaced it by saying the other spaces, and say that this is what I hear. And then if I any pushback, I'm a Zionist. I don't even know what the hell that is, right? But obviously I am one.
You hear the extremes in every space where this comes up, and Maze and Alpha had a big space on it the other night. It's very uncomfortable. I didn't stick around. But look, it's easy to understand, and I think frame this whole issue is that just like there are politicians in this country who pose as Christians, or pose as Protestants, or pose as a religion, wear that as a cloak and a costume to encourage and garner support among their followers, is something that's easily understood. The same thing is true in Israel. There are Zionists, the politicians who use Judaism, use the Jewish faith to protect themselves and their political goals, which have nothing really to do with the religion. That's why Bibi is almost as unpopular in his country right now as Biden was in our country. But we continue to support those politics. It isn't a question of anti-Semitism or not, or Islamophobia. This is a question of understanding that the politics is hiding under our religion and using our religious biases and allegiances against us.
which is why the ADL is so dangerous.
Agreed. Deep, I don't want to forget you guys. We all just trampled over Deep. Deep, take your time with your answer because I feel like we just totally robbed you of it, and I apologize.
No, you didn't. Sorry. You didn't. It was entertaining listening in. Look, I think that President Trump has done a pretty good start in his first, you could say, few months in office. This whole thing, right, is an experiment, and we need to see, of course, where we go with this. But I do think that things are headed in the right direction. I am a big supporter of getting American supply chains back in America. I am a big supporter of protecting the manufacturing sector, or Europe doesn't really matter at the end of the day. American workers have been suffering tremendously with globalization over the years, and if that means that we as an economy have to take a little bit of brunt or pain in the initial months to reorient supply chains back home, I'm all in favor of that. And I know that a lot of people, I guess, on the left and of course the leftist media, they want you to kind of believe that this whole thing will kind of tank the economy. It'll tank, obviously, the stock market, right? You could say Wall Street took advantage of a little bit of short selling in the last week or two, but all of this is temporary. I think that America should look after America and America first, and we don't really care for any other country in the world. That doesn't mean that we don't have interests in different parts of the world. Yes, we are a global player. We are a global empire, as some people would say. And yes, it does take resources for us to enjoy the high quality of life and standard of living that we enjoy in this country. All of that is true, but I don't believe personally that should be at the expense of our workers in our industries. So I am pretty much in favor of at least Trump's economic policy. Regarding some of the social dynamics in this country, I mean, I don't want to comment on it because I don't really have much of a, you could say, a view on either side. I hope that someday we could reach a meaningful peace in the Middle East. And one that is sustainable. But at the same time, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that America doesn't have interests. And of course, we do care for preserving our interests in the most oil-rich region of the world. And of course, naturally, the Saudis, the Israelis, other countries in that region, right, the Emiratis, the Kuwaitis, etc., we have had very strong relationships with. And of course, I don't think that Trump or anybody else in America would deviate away from U.S. interests in the world. So I think that people got to be patient. It's not easy to run the biggest, most powerful, most successful country on planet Earth. And obviously, all 336 odd million citizens, right? We're not going to agree on everything. We do have our differences, and perhaps our differences are what makes us the greatest nation ever created. So, that's just, I guess, some of the things that I'm seeing. But overall, I am a big supporter of the new Trump economic policy. I do hope that we do enact these tariffs, additional tariffs, I should say, because there's already tariffs in place, but additional tariffs on April 2nd. And then just one last thing regarding Ukraine and of course, kind of the complications of the conflict. You can't blame President Trump for wanting to get something out of the $500 billion we've invested into that country. I wouldn't say invested, I'd say laundered, because we don't really have a good track record of a lot of the money that we've even poured into that country. But I do think that it would be important for the United States to walk away with some sort of mineral resource deal or rights to at least get what we've put into the country. Otherwise, I think it would be one of the biggest failures or disappointments, which it pretty much is at the moment. But I don't blame President Trump for correcting that. And we do have to work with the Russians in the future to at least some degree. I'm not saying that we should be like completely friendly. to, the Atlanticist view that we need to vilify Russia 24/7, 365. And Russia does have a lot of mineral resources itself. We did lose our interests in Russia once the Ukraine war started. All of our companies, oil companies in particular, we were extracting quite a bit of oil from Russia itself. And that oil is no longer coming to American markets. So, it's a complicated situation right now in the world and at home. And I'm kind of happy that President Trump's in power. Thanks.
Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think we should be vilifying Russia either. Like, I don't know why we can't just, try to get along with as many, for lack of better words, get along with people as often as we can. And I want this freaking Ukraine war to end. I don't want to go to a war with Iran. Then again, they're not going to get a nuclear weapon. And so, but but these are our leaders. This is what we elect those people to do. Like, this is their job. Their job is to figure this crap out. But let me just check real quick, and we're going to get to these hands one second. Daz, I don't know if you called on him yet, but I wanted to check in with Gary to see if Gary was around. I wanted to ask him something real fast. You around, Gary? You sketching? What you doing, brother? Mike.
I'm just sitting out here, buddy, watching a beautiful sunset and doing a little painting.
Oh, there
Listening
you go.
to you guys. Learning. Every day I'm learning, son.
Well, let me ask you something while you're painting and learning. What?
Knock, knock.
Okay, who's there?
Dumb question incoming.
Freaking dad jokes, terrible. Yesterday's
dude. Last night, I painted till 1:30, and then I looked up, and one of my extremely black furry dogs who just got a bath, had red fucking
paint.
Oil.
Oh no,
oil paint from one of those sticks, and it was the deepest red. 1:30 in the morning, dude. I'm sitting here, half blind.
Do you go turpentine with that, or how do you get that out,
bro? I went hardcore, dog.
Really?
Yeah, I did the old. I just went and got some bath soap.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I thought it was going to be a mistake, but I was just so tired. I was like, you can just stay outside. He slept with me. It was cool. It must have all came out.
Well, he's a red and black dog now. So
what up, dog? What up? What y'all doing? Y'all solving all the
solving all the problems.
Y'all talking about this little Jewish thing that we never really ever been able to confront until recently.
We are a little bit, but what I wanted to ask you about though, is
y'all are edging it.
I wanted to get your take on the what do you think is happening with the economy? Like, how do you see? Like, I'm really interested in the power that these other people have to counter our terrorists.
The last gentleman that spoke, I liked everything he said till maybe the end, and I just I would just question, hey, America has interest, yeah, and I think other people also have rights and interest. Also, I would ask, at what expense and what exactly are those interests? Because I think if you've tallied, first off, there's so much energy on this planet, it's actually ridiculous. So you're already seeing it right now. You're seeing, like if you listen to all these doomsdayers on these financial things, some of, very talented, very well-studied people, how few people are talking about the price of crude all day? Now, I heard that Trump was going to drill and guaranteed we'd be the electricity generation country on the planet at the lowest cost, by the way. So he understands scale. It takes everything near zero. I don't know why people would. I think this is an unbelievable buying opportunity if you're in the market, in any part of the market. Equities, equities, any kind of instruments that have that are valued in their ability to produce the future, to bring or deliver the future, next 10, 20 years. Going to be a super cycle. Okay, like one of the greatest investment opportunities in a human history because of what, like, if you look, the tariffs are basically you're seeing a guy play the most high level poker on planet Earth. Okay, I mean this puts Phil Ivey to shame, and Helmutson couldn't hold a candle to this game. We're just watching it, and people that are amazed and talking about the tariffs, like we have the biggest dick in the house. Okay, we run the casino, we own all the tables. We'll give you the money back when we've decided you've done enough gambling with us. So although our hand may not be perfect, I think people don't really understand how powerful this country is. And we're really in a good position. While the North Sea in the UK and Europe was giving away all their energy, we were, producing more and more and more, learning how to produce in low price environments like $30 and $40 crude oil. And that's what got us into this bloat with all this energy. And now you've lost all those club alliances, membership things, the old Henry Kissinger days with OPEC. That's all done, man. First off, contractually, they've expired. But also, even if they hadn't expired, I think if you've entered into an agreement with anyone, prior to the last 4 years, it's probably would do well to like sit down and go, hey, should I renegotiate this thing? The world's changed so much. So by hook or crook, man, we're going to get there. I think we're literally moving into a new paradigm and a new financial. Well, I think we're moving into a whole new paradigm. And most of the metrics that we use today to report success, like my question to the gentleman, we protect our interests, but okay, if we tell every American citizen, hey, by the way, our interest means we kill people. Like, let me show you some videos, and you're going to volunteer for that shit. See, we don't tell them that part. That's not really that's not humanity. That's living in a zoo with part of the story being told to us. I would rather freedom and get ripped to pieces, personally.
Yeah, no, I makes sense. You're right. They do leave the killing part out. And I think that's what we're trying to get away from. I think that I've seen that sentiment more so than when we were growing up, back in the day. Gary, you remember this, it was pro USA, and going to war was almost like a badge that we wore. But now I think with the more disclosure that we're getting, we're realizing how bad it is. We're starting to take into account when you do the bombing, the janitor who's just working his shift never goes home and sees his freaking kids again, and he got caught up. And so and I think we're seeing that around the world more often now that we're like, none of this is productive at all. And I think when we move into this drone war type thing, I think that it could be even worse because it's going to be easier. And that's one of the things that kind of worries me a little bit. But I did want to ask you about this. What are your thoughts on American expansion? Like,
when you worry, do you crinkle your nose or your forehead?
I squint my eyes.
He puckers
That's always
his ass.
puckered.
Stop squinting.
You know that.
It's like I squint, and people think I'm
Doc
mad.
is always going to talk about someone's ass.
I know. It's
consistently Doc is
part of his charm.
Talking ass.
He's a Chargers.
Oh,
I'm an ass man.
talking out of his ass. Doc's talking out of his ass. That's right. Yeah, we got it right.
Ass to ass. It's fine.
Who agrees Doc's just talking out of his ass? Y'all just repost the room. Doc's talking out of his ass.
Doc takes a lot of pride. He takes a lot of pride in his butt, though.
Break 1,000 people in here.
Doc's getting DMs for pictures all the time. It's fine. I'm asking about the expansion, though.
Yo, bro. Hey, your PBD man, he's going heavy. He sounds like he's a paid promoter for XRP.
Okay, hold on a second. Look, you brought up something else. Look, your ADD freaking gets my ADD triggered, bro, and then you throw me off a freaking loop.
You bring him on?
I'm going to. I'm coming back to you about PBD. First of all, answer my question about.
Does he have an
I'm coming to you. Answer my question about expansion, and then I'm coming to PBD.
Hey, give me some insight, man. I might need to jump on that XRP train.
I want.
before TBD
God
takes
dang
all
it,
away
dude!
from
Like a freaking child.
I need my
XRP.
BTC.
Okay.
Go ahead, bro. What's your
We'll
question,
clip
man?
that, you and I singing together.
Yeah, you clip whatever you want.
I want to
bro.
know about the expansion. What do you think, honestly, about the United States expanding its presence in the world, like as far as Greenland and Canada, and got like, what are your thoughts on those things? Like, legitimately, should America be expanding in order to secure more physical area?
If it's resource dense and does not require military occupation, and it's within proximity to your own coast, like it would kind of be stupid not to start consolidating all your resources. Like go long everything. Go long every commodity on the planet. Look, the planet is reshuffling. The geo market centric, the world we live in, man. Just by survival, people are migrating. Okay, people migrate because they're leaving the country they're coming from because the resources are wrong or the government's wrong or something's wrong. They're going to, like my family came here from Italy, right? So people migrate from weak areas to strong areas. It seems like to me in the last 10 years, we've probably done some almost forced migration, almost targeted. Well, targeted in the sense that there's only 2 or 3 continents you could stick a bunch of poor people into, right? So, I don't know long term how we fix all these issues, but if you're asking me about the financial market, I think Europe's a problem, and that could create a contagion. But other than that, it's the only thing I'm worried about.
Okay, before we get to some of these hands,
it would be a serious contagion.
I got one more question for you. So,
like contagion of all time, right? Like a once in a century event. Yes, sir.
No, I get it. No, I think you're right with the going long on everything and how everything is just going to get bigger and better. It's just time to kind of step out there, and if you got a chance to acquire something.
I do think that does require, though, that means you find all this money that's been leaking out to the inside crew. That if you save, hey, look, $5 trillion no longer is leaving this country or other places and going to federal employees or backhanders or who knows what. That's $5 trillion to the bottom line.
Yeah.
Okay, any family would take the $5 trillion. I'll take $5 trillion back. I also want my tax back that I paid for the prior 10 years. I don't know why the government doesn't come out and say income taxes done. And, they should be sending us all a waiver going, hey, please don't sue us. So if we get a no income tax deal, I think that's going to come to. And I think it'll capital gains, clear position on capital gains. Hey, go buy airplanes. You guys make money and you want to offset it by buying something else. Go do it. That's going to be the world we live in. And that's really, really positive. In addition to not having regulators who are like totally need to go get laid because they're so pent up. All they do is illegally enforce people. They target them. I mean, it's really been horrible.
Well, that's what kind of confuses me, though, about people bitching about using taxpayer money to buy Bitcoin to put it in the strategic reserve. Like, if you just kind of put that into the strategic national reserve, like, what in God's name would be the problem with that? With just stacking it up with an appreciating asset that has done nothing but start from the bottom left and gone to the top at all.
We don't need to go there, though. That's a deep discussion.
Okay, so real quick about Patrick Bet David.
Yeah, bro. Hey, knock.
Who's there? Did you not have a backup joke, Gary? Or well, he's being silent. Probably something about someone.
Forgot my joke, man.
That's all right. Sometimes
knock. Hey, I forgot my joke, man.
Yeah, I forgot to ask who's there. So we're both.
Hey, you know what you call an armless and legless man on your wall?
What's that?
Matt.
Bob.
Art.
Good call.
Art.
Yeah, Matt's
I
on the
like
front
it.
doorstep.
Hey, did y'all ever do
I
that?
like Matt, Dusty. That was funny.
What's that lady's name? That real political savvy lady. What's her name? What's
Savvy.
your name, ma'am? Sally.
Savvy.
No,
Sally, what's up?
Savvy.
Oh, Savvy. Hey, Savvy. Is that your real name?
It's Tiffany Savage. So the Savvy is a play
Tiffany
off my last
Savage.
name.
I like that name. Tiffany Savage, man. Very like.
Okay.
Tiffany Savage Cardone, dude. That's a name.
I
man.
know. It's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
Dang, it sounds good.
Hey, focus
That's right.
for a minute, Cardone. Listen. I got a question about.
Stop, Mike. I'm
Yeah, dude.
illegal.
This is a good
I
conversation.
know it is, but
dude.
we're going to get back to it.
What the fuck is wrong with
Y'all
you?
are both y'all are both
Savage. You're
subscribers, and in the after space,
And we're both single.
we're going to pursue this all night.
Hit me up,
right?
sister.
See what I'm saying?
Okay.
I got a question. I got a
here
question
goes.
before we're about to get to these hands. I got a question.
Wow.
Cardone,
Hey,
your boy
Des, is
PBD.
she crazy? Is this lady crazy?
Your boy PBD. Listen,
I don't need any
I
more
want to
crazy
know.
women.
I want to know about the dude he was interviewing the other day.
Savvy's amazing, Gary.
I want to know about the guy that he
Savvy's a
was
good
interviewing
girl.
the other day that was talking about your brother. What's the deal with that? I didn't get a chance to watch the interview. I watched a little clip of it, and it was not.
Who's interviewing what?
PBD was interviewing some dude that was freaking, and he had
The Clinics health guy.
Yeah, that's Brecca.
Brecca.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but I just saw it on a freaking thumbnail. And
Gary Brecca. Gary Brecca was the medical guy that I don't know. I mean, it's Grant did a deal with this guy. I don't know if he's a doctor or not, and the guy now is filed some kind of suit against Grant, or I think not against Grant, against Elena. But I don't really know much about it, dude. This happens so much, bro. Like I got a letter today from. Can I say this? Yeah, I got a letter. I got a letter, recently, and anyway, people are very, very weird, bro. Well, they're parasites. They're not weird. They're parasites. So it's amazing when you see money. Money really does something to some people. Boy, it's really frightening.
Well,
So,
I remember when we first talked a couple years ago, whatever it was, and we talked on the phone first. You were saying that we ought to start a freaking deal like Patrick Bet David. I remember specifically you told me how much you admired him and how much you thought that we should. Hey, dude, your last space, you threw me underneath the bus. You say I didn't even invite Mike back to my freaking party. Like, bro.
Yeah, I think I will tell you that I found it a little surprise. Well, I think I don't know. But PBD, back to PBD on the says nothing to do with Grant's thing. Maybe I should shut up about it. I didn't know he was promoting the Brecca thing. But see, that's the problem being a twin, man. Where was I going with that? Yeah, no, it just sounds like he's pumping XRP for somebody. I mean,
Sounds
he's
like
giving it a lot. He's giving it a lot of attention since
Let's
he did
go.
that survey.
Get some of that. Maze knows what's up.
I think he was a little upset with me.
That's okay. That's okay.
But hey, listen, he doesn't know you like me, so you can still go work for him.
Okay. Whew, thank God. I was like, bro, don't be calling me during work
I
hours.
didn't throw you on the bus. No.
I appreciate it. And as soon as I get a suit, suit that'll work with the people at your parties, I'll show up to the next one.
Now, well, I'd just like you to stop changing your picture. It's getting a little like, oh, who's this Mike? We got another new Mike now. Ooh. Hey, listen, I'm going to get back to painting, and I'm just going to listen to you guys, okay?
All right, brother. Good to see you. Good to have you up there.
Thank you for telling me a good joke.
By the way, church with Gary Cardone every Sunday. Tell them about it real quick. What time?
10:30 a.m. You tell them about the rest of it.
10:30 Eastern time, 9:30 Central time. Gary gets on there and he talks for quite a while.
Don't show up if you don't.
On
don't show up if you don't want to question your existence on planet Earth.
Yeah, does some great introspection and gets people involved. A lot of great comments. Actually, I was surprised. A lot of great comments when he's talking. It's on live stream, so go up to the top and the peak thing, and he'll be on there. It's it's good stuff. So make sure you turn your notifications on for Gary. You will not miss it. Gary Church. Church with Gary Cardone on Sundays.
If for no other reason to show up, I will tell you the only reason that I am showing up, and I had to admit this just the other day, is I am literally being, Mike, you will really appreciate this. I don't want to like dwell on it, but I am literally being told, I want you to continue doing this. Now, I do not know where that's from, where, but it's like, I would feel so guilty. And I don't understand it, dude. But you're watching a guy go, okay, I'm just going to follow this message. I don't really understand it. And I think that's pretty cool. We never had technology that will allow somebody to go, oh, wow, let's do this little thought experiment, right? So we're gonna gain a lot, and I'm so excited being associated with everyone here and everyone that's going to come after here, because we're really connecting as a society. It's very, very, very cool.
Well, when I retire next year, don't tell anybody about what we're planning until then. Okay, just keep that under wraps.
Puz, you got to tell me what you're planning. You can't do that.
Can't do it.
Secret's still my
Can't do it.
friend.
It's a secret. It's a secret Mike Gary plan. We're not going to tell anybody. It's gonna take over the world by storm, but without storm. He works somewhere else now. Shout out to my boy Hitch Slaps down there in the audience. Going to bring him up in a minute, get his take on some of these things.
Storm, bro?
I don't know, bro. He's working for your brother.
Yeah, okay. I haven't seen him in forever.
I haven't seen him forever. I sent him a message the other day, and I was like, "Hey, bro, how you doing?" He's like, "I hope all's well." And he's like, "Yeah, all's well. Hope all's well with you." I'm like, "Okay."
He rolled into one of my spaces a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, oh my God. And then I tried to throw him a mic, and as fast as I did it, he was gone. I was like, dang it.
Yeah. Storm's a great guy. I like him. Great host. So we'll see what happens with him. Let's get to a couple of these hands real fast. Thinker and Miss Lou, and then we're going to go to Deep, and then we'll kind of check around and see what everybody's thinking. And notice, the Coyote, what's going on with your freaking connection, bro? I've been bringing you up. Bring Coyote back up here in just a second. Thinker.
Duct tape a router to his leg in order for it to work. I don't know.
Mac, I think you're not seeing some people on stage.
Oh, I'm not?
I see Coyotes on.
Hey, Hitch, did you see that thing I sent you, bro?
I did see it, Gary. Yes, I'm going to check it out, and I will give you a detailed analysis as soon as I've had a chance.
Yeah, and I'm specifically not sharing any of my thoughts with you because I know those two guys. But I thought that was very interesting. Anyway, I'll be very interested to see what you think about it.
Well, I'll watch it, and if they're friends of yours, I'll be polite, but I'm going to guess it's not quantitative, it's qualitative. So based on surveys, not based on metrics.
Yeah, no, that's what I want to understand your perspective on it, because I don't understand. I don't even know what those are. INJT or whatever he was suggesting.
Yeah, whatever I tell you in the DMs, don't tell them. If they're powerful men, I don't want them after me. I got enough.
No, they might. No, they're fine, bro. Any friends of mine, if they are friends, I said I knew them. I didn't say they were my friends.
Gotcha.
They're big enough to take a debate. Otherwise, we tell them to fuck off.
I love that.
Yeah, Hitch, what he said.
Let's go.
Do that. Straight up, just like that. Good to see you, Hitch. We'll get an update from you in just a minute. Always good to have you on the set. The whole room the IQ went up in the whole room, just like that. That's pretty impressive. I don't know how you do that, but it's a good deal. X should be thankful to have you.
Yeah, but let me just add.
There we go.
You guys really squirreled a moment. Two people getting to know each other. I mean, you guys
sure
really
did.
Y'all could have both
bro. That's the after space. That's the after space.
I'm Tiff. I'm so sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
Y'all aren't at a TIFF. You're not at a TIFF level yet.
Wow, Mike, you really need to learn this like wingman thing. Like you're really bad at it.
I'm Tiffany's wingman. What are you talking about?
That's right.
Well, you should have let the conversation go.
Like fucked up your job then.
I can't help. I'm selfish. Shut up, all of y'all. Y'all are embarrassing me for my friends. Whatever. All right.
Wait, you have friends?
Shut up.
No,
God,
do not reinforce
I can't.
Poor
I'm gonna sit. That's it. I'm about to text Jen a bunch of nasty stuff in the background, say mean things.
Bring it.
Well, not right now. My thumb's been hurting me from texting earlier, but I'll get to it at some point. Bottom right-hand corner, the purple pill, black pill, whatever you want to call it. Go down there, retweet the room just for fun. Get it out there real quick and say something cute, and we'll read it out loud. But do that. And the after space tonight, the subscriber space only. Go in there, subscribe 99 cents, round up to $1, and we're going to come up.
So
I know you did. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. Cardone's a subscriber. We're going to, in the after space, that's when we're all going to get together. Try to freaking make that happen so other people can come into the space
Y'all
afterwards.
subscribe. It's the best value.
That's what I'm talking about.
Mike, breathe. Take a breath, dude.
Freaking 99 cents. Jennifer, just because I didn't let you subscribe, don't pop off. I don't want your 99 cents. Okay, look, Thinker's been freaking waiting here for like 4 days. Poor thing's got her hand up, the mask. Thinker, jump in there. What's going on?
It's okay. It's okay. Y'all having fun. We having fun in here, so that's fine. I just wanted to kind of chime in a little bit. How's that dog, though?
Red.
That's what I want to ask first. How's the dog? How's the dog?
I guess he's okay. He said he wound up sleeping in bed with him last night, so I guess that red paint is...
Not his dog, not your dog. Your dog. Your dog with that nice
my dog.
haircut.
Oh, she's always sweet.
Yes,
my
with
dog.
that sharp. Oh, that's your dog?
Well, he photoshopped my face into the picture, so I can only assume it's my dog.
Well, listen, the dog had a nice haircut. Whoever's dog
it was my dog.
Had a very, very nice haircut. I like the haircut on the dog. But anyway, I'm a dog person. I'm a cat person now too. But no, I just wanted to share like sort of like what Gary was saying. One of the things I think, like, there's 3 things that I've noticed now. Number one, Trump is a builder. So if you think about a builder, like the kind of builder he is with a lot of vision, he does things long term as well, right? So he doesn't need like quick riches right now or quick, personal things. So he's thinking about the next level of his builder vision, like how to actually build wealth for a whole country, a whole nation. And so I was listening to him today when he was talking to, I was listening to a replay when he was talking to the Irish PM. And he said, do you remember when, I wanted to do this project and you gave me, the green light in 4 weeks? And he says, then, Trump was told that he had to go and get approved from the UN, from the EU, and it was going to be like a 5 to 7 year thing. And he was like, why? Why would it take 5 to 7 years? You gave me the approval here, in Ireland in 4 weeks. So one of the things I'm thinking, Trump is a builder. If you just think of the map, if you look at the land mass and you look at like territory, Russia, so Africa is number 1 in land mass. Then you look at Russia, which is number 2. You look at the United States is down there 4 or 5. But if United States had Canada, Greenland, and all the area, we'd be like higher up there. So Trump is thinking about future like territory. What landmass, what area as a builder do you actually control in the world? So I think he's thinking about that, number 1. And I know Russia knows they got a lot of landmass too. The second thing is, when you think about this Ukraine war, and if you got friends in Ukraine, I think I wrote it down there, and I have some friends over there in Ukraine, Slovakia, Russia. These people are mostly Russians. They're mostly of the same background. America, the West, Europe and America, we know nobody wants to ask this question. Nobody wants to ask the question of, did America do evil things? Did America do evil things over these past 30, 50 some years to create the stuff that we're in now? And I think that Donald Trump knows that America has been a part of evilness and wickedness. We are part of what is happening now. And it's facts. Just look up Jeffrey Sachs that talks about how Bill Clinton helped with the NATO expansion. We were not supposed to expand NATO. There was an agreement with Gorbachev and our secretary back in, I think, 1994 or something like that. We were not supposed to expand NATO. Bill Clinton came along later and broke the rules. And they started the NATO expansion. Now, if you were Russia and you knew that Ukraine was your border and those were your people, and you knew, like, wait a minute, they're trying to take my territory. What are you going to do? You're going to do whatever you need to do to defend it. And not only did they do that, they actually put missiles and pointed them towards Russia. So Trump knows a few things. Spiritually, he knows, don't abandon Jerusalem. And the more and more I hear on X lately is so many Christians starting to abandon Jerusalem. God already knew that Jerusalem would be part of political schisms and all this ethnic stuff. It's been going on even before Samaria with the Samaritans and Jews. This stuff's been going on for a long time when Assyria actually conquered northern Israel. So God knows all of this. But it's quite interesting that Trump is one of the only leaders that's willing to stand for the principle of Jerusalem that is biblical. But we have now the great falling away, where you have Christians that are falling away from Jerusalem. And that's not a good thing. So Trump, I do believe, is trying to save America in a spiritual war. That's where I see this going. Now, Trump may not know how to articulate it or whatever, but that's what he's doing. We have been doing evil, wicked stuff this whole time. And Trump is trying to get America back in a place of prominence because we're in judgment. And I do think right now, I am looking for things to invest in because I do believe that there will be a clearing out. The systems that were wicked will actually crumble, and there will be wealth. There will be a next, generation of wealth and prosperity. So if you're not looking for things to invest in or to grow, look for that. But don't also, what I'll say to people is, do not get caught up in going against Jerusalem, because if we go against Jerusalem, that's it for America, because we're on our last leg. That's all I wanted to say, really, because I think sometimes when we talk about spiritual things, we get into things where some people are not of the faith, but I do think Donald Trump recognizes that, and he has vision as a builder. So I'm excited about what's going on, and I think Russia didn't cause this problem. I think we caused this problem, and we don't want to admit that Bill Clinton started it with some of these other presidents.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that, one day we'll all find out if it was a spiritual or not. Like one day we're all going to find out. Like the answer exists. One day we'll figure out what it is. True.
Well, it's in the Bible. It's not that we haven't figured out.
No. I agree with you. I'm going to say, I'm agreeing with what you're saying. I'm just saying that we all have to kind of find our way to where it is that we need to be. And that's all we can do is pray for each other that, that each person finds their way and, just goes with their gut and hope to God that,
Hey, Mike,
they get the best advice.
Can we get back to Tiffany Savage?
We are.
Why
See,
are we
Savage.
spending so much time on these other silly?
We're going to get back to her in just 1 second. We're no doubt about it.
Right here.
Tiff, don't encourage him, bro. Come on, guys.
What? I'm like excited. Shut up.
Jeez.
Now I'm embarrassed. Okay, shut up.
And that's the sign. And that's the sign that you know. And I'm going to leave it right there.
Okay, let's get to a couple more of these hands real fast, and then we're going to kind of start seeing where we're at. Bottom right-hand corner, retweet the room. Also, I had a video come out, because I don't know if you got a chance to see it yet, but I'm doing these mini. They're not church with cardio. They're mini sermon type things, basically things I'm working on, things I'm trying to express.
Devotionals, like your
kind of like devotionals that Destiny does. That's correct. Which, by the way, Des, I have to compliment you, and it pains me to do it.
Hey, you encroaching on my territory?
No, not yet. That's my blood, bro. What are you talking about?
Right. We're cousins.
Yeah, he didn't know that. But by the way, Des, I have to say that your devotional that you did with the audios were always really, really good. But I thought the fact that you switched to video, it probably is going to be a little bit harder to do it daily.
I didn't have a choice.
When you say cousin, you mean distant cousins, though, right, Tiff?
Yes.
Yes.
Distant cousins.
Correct.
Yes.
Thank God.
Very
Yes.
distant.
Thank
Very, very distant.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. Des, it's probably going to be hard to do it every day, but I liked it. I thought it was really powerful for you to be on screen and to kind of watch you say that and go through that. What were your thoughts about doing the devotional on video?
I was really kind of upset because like I'm used to doing it the way that I do, and then like no one else really uses those little voice things, and so I'm probably like the only person on X that uses them. But I did use them like every day, so like I was relying on that to be there, and so I was like, well, I don't want to not do it, so I like what am I gonna do? So I just had to do the video, and I was like, okay, I guess it'll have to suffice until I can like nag Elon to bring back the audio function.
I think your reach is going to be better doing it like this. And one of these days when we have our content creation space, we'll be able to talk more about this. But I think your reach is going to be better doing it like that. I think it's going to be more impactful. What do you think?
I don't know. Like I was, there's certain things that like I do, and it's a conflicting thing. Like me putting my face on things. Like, yeah, I get more views on videos than you do on regular posts, sure. But when it comes to certain things, like I want the focus to be on certain things. I don't want the focus to be like on how I look or anything like that. Like, when it comes to my devotionals, I really do like to keep it about God. And so for me, it's frustrating, but I'll learn to manage.
But you could always look at it like you get the attention, and then when you get their attention, then you deliver the message, right?
Why not just record it with StreamYard? Because you could put an avatar on there, and then you could just upload it to X.
That's true.
I could do that. I guess.
Oh, do video. So what I was going to say earlier, and by the way, go to Destiny's site, go check it out, go see her video, give her some feedback on it, let her know if you'd rather her do just an audio with just a little icon on there, or would you rather her do it video like she's done now? So check that on her site. Also, my first little thing that I came up with, it's my first one that I've done in a while. This is a whole new kind of style, but it's up there in the nest. So if you guys get a chance and you can check it out, it's like about 3 or 4 minutes long, something like that. But I would love to get your feedback on it. And it's right up there. And I think it hit like, I think it's like at 30 something thousand. It got pretty good traction, Des. I think Shane helped a lot. Shane kind of promoted that for me, which I gave him producer status. I talked to him about some parts of the edit the other day, and he gave me some good feedback. So always appreciate that. But if you get a chance, check it out. And also check out Destiny stuff. And maybe we'll talk about some content stuff later after we get past the Gary and Savage comment. But that will only be in the subscriber space that's coming up right after. And by the way, shout out to Kimmy. Kimmy, I saw that you subscribed. I certainly appreciate that. Always been a big fan of all the stuff that you do. So to have you on board, it means a lot. I appreciate that. So again, 99 cents rounds up to $1. Join us afterwards. All right.
I mean, now that you're using Savage and I to promote your audience, I think we should get a third of the cut, bro. I mean, just speaking for me and my
33 cents of XRP
The art
coming your
of
way.
the deal. That's it.
XRP's coming to both of you.
I mean,
As if Gary doesn't already have enough money.
I know. He wants my XRP though, Sally. That's the angle. So
Whatever Gary says goes.
Shut up, Savage. You forget where you came from, girl.
What? That was
Come on.
nasty.
You gotta
there, Tiffany. That was good. That was
Fucking
good.
next can't talk like that. It's not as bad
That
what you
is a
said. It's the fact that
smart
freaking
girl right
Jennifer's
there.
going to show up with her freaking pom-poms. Go, Tiffany. Yay, America mission.
You told me I was banned from your subscriber space. You can't
Give me
handle
a
the
break.
heat.
You should come in, Jen. I'll unban you.
I know. I was actually going
She's
to.
banned. I'm blocked. There's a block feature for subscribers or something.
It's okay. Destiny will let
I gotta figure it out.
Myself, Jen.
Everybody's blocked. It's only gonna be
Heck yeah. I'm
even
here
my
for
freaking
Destiny.
cousin's getting blocked out of there.
Oh.
Deep, Gary was talking to you, so let me go to you, and then we'll go to Southern, and then Sally. Not sure if that's the right order, but yay. Deep, jump in, brother.
Yeah. Thanks for the mic. No, I just wanted to answer Gary's question because it was directed at me. Look, the great game for resources will always be played among great powers, and America is one of those great powers. And it's not specific to just energy. I think America has plenty of energy at home, and of course we are drilling as much as we possibly could. I mean, I think that we could do more, but that's probably up for another space. But regarding Ukraine in particular, since that was kind of what I was referring to. we do need to make advanced semiconductors to enjoy 21st century life, and there are very particular rare earth minerals that are required in order to produce and make semiconductors. And I do think that we have a pretty extensive ecosystem, right, where we work with our partners around the world, be it the Europeans and Netherlands and Germany, right, to actually make the machines, right, like ASML kind of makes those machines. Of course, we have our wonderful nerdy engineers, right, in NVIDIA and Silicon Valley that kind of designed the materials, the actual chips themselves, and then of course the Taiwanese for now. They do have a large share in manufacturing it, but the actual raw materials for a very long time, China had a monopoly on the you could say the semiconductor raw material kind of requirements, rare earth minerals, but that monopoly has shrunk, from 90% to around less than 60%, and yes, that is because America did pursue its interests around the world, and of course, one could have differing opinions on proxy wars and other things, but we do need those materials if we want to have a technological and military edge, as well as have the standard of living that we do around the world. I would much rather have it done in a peaceful way, and in a way in which we can avoid conflict, and if that means we even have to work with the Russians, I think that's fine too. But I do think that having that security is essential, and of course, what Trump is trying to do is savage those resources, because we dumped an awful lot of money into the country, and we should get something out of it in return. Because if we get nothing out of it in return, we just gave Zelensky and his cronies all that money, and of course they decide to share it with whoever they like, then not only are we, you could say, very dependent on China, we've kind of lost a lot of money in this whole process. So that's kind of why people have to understand that we are a global player, and we do need to have global interests. And no, we don't have access to making those materials at home. Rare earth minerals for semiconductor production are in short supply and are not available in the U.S. And that's just because of our geographical situation. So pass it back to Mike. Thanks.
Appreciate that, Deep. Always good insight, and always agree with a lot of your points, brother. Appreciate that. Yeah, the rare earth minerals, I think, is going to be a big coup for the United States to be able to grab that, whoever we grab it from. At least it'll buy us some time till, because I think we, if I'm not mistaken, we have quite a bit in Arizona and some of those areas down there that we can kind of mine, but it would take so long to set up the structure of getting to those things in that area that we need to go ahead and be able to get some that are more easily
it's New
accessible.
Mexico
right
that
now.
has the graphite.
New Mexico.
Yeah,
New Mexico.
But it's still not that much in relative terms for what's needed to maintain the lifestyles. Like
I thought they said they had some cobalt. Didn't they say there's cobalt stored in Arizona somewhere?
Oh, I'm sure there is. I mean, and they're bordering states too, New Mexico, Arizona. They're part of the same kind of southwest Rocky Mountain region. Same thing with Utah. Utah has a lot of mining kind of minerals and resources that we.
Those freaking Indians, they buried all their cobalt and graphite underground as a part of a ritual. So we got to go dig it back up.
What?
I'm joking.
Where did you go to school?
A lot of people don't know that. They were very good diggers, very good barriers. It's a segue, Des. I'm trying to keep the mood freaking light. Where all of a sudden we're talking about going to war, and Deep hates the Russians. I'm trying to bring him back. I'm just joking, Deep. I know you don't hate the Russians. Just anytime we can mess with Destiny, let's do it together. Appreciate that. Southern knows what a good joke is. She understands how to read the room. Southern, jump in there.
A joke? Mike, I don't think I can compete with you and your jokes.
Well, I appreciate that.
Or understand them, or even understand
Watch this,
them.
Southern. Say.
She's from Appalachia, Mike.
Southern,
She'll
do
shank
this.
you.
Say Destiny.
Say
There
Destiny.
you go. See, that's everybody's laughing now, right? That's how.
Okay.
That's how funny Destiny is. See.
Okay. Well, I think she's adorable.
No, she's not. But go ahead.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, you got the mic.
Talking about lithium mines, we have 1,300 acres of it, supposedly.
Where's that at?
Western North Carolina.
Really?
The ones that are, after a hurricane, they're like, y'all are moving off. We're like, why? Rare earth minerals. Worst ain't.
Wow, I didn't know that. That is interesting.
Oh yeah, we've got 10 different kinds. Yep, and it's quite wide. There are some mines that are black rock is here. A couple other here, but we have a lot of minerals here. But found out something interesting today. Normie, he's doing his little behind the scenes thing. I want to go snap him in half.